on the topic. 9 people have been injured in Kharkiv as a result of a Russian strike, according to the State Emergency Service of Ukraine. Russian drones strike Kharkiv's Saltivka district, damaging several buildings in the attack. Mayor Ihor Terekhov has said that a maternity hospital was also hit by the blasts and is now being evacuated. This comes after Russia's defense ministry said that its forces had struck Ukrainian military airfields and facilities, while Ukraine said that Russia launched a new round of airstrikes on Kyiv and other places. The Russian army reportedly also repelled multiple attacks by the Ukrainian army in Kharkiv, Donetsk, Dnipropetrovsk, and other directions, and launched several offensives, destroying a large amount of military equipment of the Ukrainian army. Now we're joined by Joshua Barnes. He's my colleague at NewsX World. Joshua, what more can you tell us about the ongoing Ukraine and Russia's war?
Well, yes, Suma, further strikes reported by Ukraine. This is the third night of drone assaults, which have caused damage, deaths and injuries across the country in recent days. The situation seemingly is intensifying, with Russian attacks continuing, and it has drawn questions from the wider geopolitical world and leaders looking at the ongoing situation. Of course, the context: there have been discussions and pushes for peace between Russia and Ukraine, several Western nations pushing for a 30-day ceasefire, with direct discussions between Russia and Ukraine taking place for the first time in over 3 years. A second round of those talks, both of them taking place in Istanbul, led to prisoner swaps, but ultimately very little in terms of moving towards peace. The US intervention is an important topic in this story. Donald Trump has been further aligned with Russia, has spoken with Vladimir Putin. His envoy, Steve Witkoff, has met Putin on multiple different occasions, as, of course, the US looked to try and get a peace deal sorted. It was one of Trump's key points during his election campaign, saying that the war between Russia and Ukraine would be ended within days if he came into office. That has not played out, but the US is continuing their efforts to work towards peace. Questions have been raised about US support for Ukraine, something that the Biden administration were very strong on. Trump has momentarily paused aid at different points, but he is now potentially looking at providing more support. In the backdrop of conversations between Lavrov and Marco Rubio, Lavrov, of course, as you've mentioned already, Russian Foreign Minister, and Marco Rubio, US Secretary of State, we expect more discussions have been had there and pressure potentially being put on. But Trump's rhetoric has changed towards Russia in the face of these continued strikes reported by Ukraine. He persistently says that Putin is continuing to kill people, continuing to call for that ceasefire. It's something we will keep an eye on, but moving forward, it seems that peace is further away and continued strikes are ongoing.
Thank you, Joshua, for sharing that insight. Now we move on to our next news.